Hi, my name's Jonathan. People used to call me John, but honestly, I can't remember the last time someone said my name that way. I'm 40 now. I live in a beautiful house on a hill overlooking the lake. Big windows. An open kitchen I designed myself. I'm proud of this place. But what I'm most proud of is the table. A big, hand-built walnut table for 12. I used to picture it filled with friends. Laughter, jokes, game nights, toasts to life, birthdays, holidays, just good evenings for no reason. I imagined warmth, but right now, I'm sitting here alone, and no one's knocking on the door. Most of my adult life, I gave to work. I worked nights, skipped vacations, answered messages when everyone else was asleep. I didn't want to live in fear of bills like my father did. I wanted something real, something lasting, and I made it. I have the savings, the house, the kitchen I dreamed of, and the table, but no one is sitting at it. My wife left a year and a half ago. She said she was tired of waiting for me to really be with her, not just near her. I thought we were building a future together. Turns out, she'd already started a new one with someone else. And my friends, I don't know where they went. Some disappeared into family life. Some moved away. Maybe some feel like we're not on the same page anymore. Or maybe life just quietly pulled us apart. And here's the hardest part. I did everything I thought I was supposed to. Worked hard. Gave it everything. Made it. Now I sit across from the table I dreamed of, and I can't figure out where everyone went. Is something wrong with me? Or is this just what adulthood becomes? So I'm asking you, everyone watching this, are you truly happy? Or do you also feel like you have everything except someone to share it with? Leave a comment. Maybe we're all just quietly feeling the same thing. There's this strange moment when you finally have it all and then you wait. Kind of like being a kid who just won a prize, but no one claps. I remember the evening perfectly. It was a Tuesday, not a holiday, not a special date, just another day. I had just finished the last detail of the house, installed the lights above the table. Everything looked perfect. I opened a bottle of wine I'd been saving for a special occasion, set out 2 glasses, and then it hit me. There was no one to pour the second one for. I stood by the window, watching snow fall on the road, and thought, is this it? Is this the dream? The silence was loud, the kind that breaks you from the inside. For years, I kept walking forward, believing that somewhere ahead there'd be joy, peace, a sense of ease. But it never arrived. Not after the first big paycheck. Not after the final deal closed. Not even after the dream house. And for the first time, I asked myself, what exactly was I building? A career? An empire? Or just a wall between myself and everyone else? For a moment, I thought about calling someone, one of the old friends. I scrolled through my contacts, name after name, like ghosts. And for each one, I found a reason not to call. He's busy with his kids. She probably doesn't remember me. He moved. It's been years. And so on. I set the wine glass down and just sat, alone. The soft light fell across the table, and for the first time in a long time, I wasn't thinking about work. I wasn't planning anything. I was just there, and it felt empty. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual, not for work, not because of an alarm. I just woke up. The house was quiet. I put the kettle on, sat across from the table, and for the first time, really looked at it. I'd spent months building this thing. Chose the wood, sanded it by hand, oiled it until it glowed. I used to imagine my friends around it, someone pouring wine, someone arguing about movies, someone just sitting there in silence, the good kind. Now, just chairs. Empty. I don't know why, but I pulled one closer. Just a bit. As if someone might sit there. It was a small, silly thing, but something about it stuck, like a quiet voice saying, maybe it's not too late to change things. After breakfast, I left the house. No plan. Just walked down to a coffee shop I used to go to. It was mostly empty. One barista behind the counter. She smiled and asked, "The usual?" I blinked. "You remember me?" I asked. "You always got a cappuccino." Sat in the corner with a laptop. I smiled. "That was like 5 years ago." "I've got a good memory," she said. We chatted for a minute. Nothing deep, but it felt like something I hadn't felt in a long time. Connection. Just a few words with someone who remembers you. It can shift your whole day. I sat in the same corner, no laptop this time. I just sat, watched the street, breathed. For once, I wasn't running from anything, wasn't hiding behind a schedule, wasn't closing myself off. And you know what? It wasn't scary. It was kind of peaceful. I don't know what got into me. Maybe it was that short moment at the coffee shop. Maybe I was just tired of staying quiet. The next day, I found Liam's number in my phone. We hadn't spoken since my wedding. That was 12 years ago. I typed this simple message. "Hey, it's John. Have you been? Been thinking about having people over. No occasion. Just have a table that's too empty lately." I stared at the screen for a while. Then I hit send and turned my phone off. Like a kid tossing a bottle into the ocean and fearing it'll float right back. When I turned it back on, it said, "Read," but no reply. 3 hours passed. Then 6. A whole day. Still nothing. I told myself, okay, that was brave, but maybe it's too late. Then I tried again. Messaged Alex, an old coworker. We used to pull all-nighters together during the early days. He replied in 5 minutes. "Hey, John, glad to hear you're doing well. I'm actually living in another city now. Family, life, you know how it goes. Wishing you all the best." And that was it. Silence again. I wasn't upset. Not really. But it kind of confirmed what I'd been feeling deep down. I'm no longer part of the frame. I didn't get angry. I didn't cry. That night, I just sat and looked at the table again. And I realized something. Maybe what I really want isn't just friendship. Maybe I want a new beginning. Not a return to how things were. Not a rewind. Something different. But for something different to happen now, I've got to keep trying. Even if no one answers yet. I realized something. If I just wait around for someone to call, nothing changes. And if I want change, I have to step outside the house. So that day, I typed into Google, "Things to do alone in town for adults." Yeah, sounds kind of funny, right? I found a small board game night at the local library. Friday, 7 p.m. Free entry. I stood outside for almost 5 minutes before I had the courage to walk in. Inside, there were 6 people. 2 teens. One guy in a shirt with unicorns. A couple. And one girl sitting alone, reading the back of a box that said Wingspan. I walked up to her, took a deep breath, and asked, "Hey, is this place okay for beginners?" She smiled. "Everyone here's a beginner. Even me. I've only come twice before." That calmed me down. We started playing. Someone else joined. We weren't there to win, just to share space, to exist in the same moment. I even made a joke. I laughed. And more importantly, I didn't feel like an outsider. On the walk back home, I didn't put on music. I just walked and noticed something strange. I didn't want to rush back into silence. It didn't feel empty anymore. I'm not saying I suddenly felt great, but something shifted. A small mechanism deep inside, like an old clock that hasn't moved in years suddenly ticking once. And I thought, maybe this is where it really begins. When I came home that Friday night, it was already dark. I stepped into the kitchen and for the first time in months, didn't turn the lights on right away. I stood by the table, looking at it in the quiet half-light. It stood there like always, big, solid, waiting. And I suddenly thought, maybe I'd misunderstood this table all along. Maybe it wasn't meant for 12. Maybe, at first, it was just meant for one. For me. I made myself dinner. Nothing fancy. Just real. One plate. One glass. One chair. I didn't imagine someone joining me. Didn't pretend. I was just here. And honestly, it felt good. Sometimes we build big things, a career, a house, an image, but forget to build the closest thing. A connection with ourselves. I've been moving so fast for so many years, I didn't even realize what I'd left behind. I don't know what comes next. Maybe I'll message someone again. Maybe I'll go back to that game night. Maybe I'll just make tea and sit on the porch in silence. And that'll be okay, too. I don't need this table to be full right away. I just don't want it to feel like a symbol of emptiness anymore. Because maybe it never was. Maybe it's the place where new life begins. And if you're listening to this right now, and you feel something like I do, just know, you're not alone. We're all just learning how to sit back down at our own tables.